Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in my quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, and all that good stuff. I'm joined remotely coming to us all the way from the revered observatory, one Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
I am doing fine. You know, I'm still gasping from last night.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit of House of the Dragon a little bit later, but also joining us from the Batcave, Jonathan Voico, our technical producer here.
I don't know what to do with my hands anymore, John, because I'm not running the show. So I'm like, I have this muscle memory, but I'm not doing anything.
Can I just say your setup there looks really good?
Oh, thank you.
It looks really, really good. I enjoy it a lot. Anyway, guys, we do have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about here today on the show. We're awfully glad that you're joining us. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a big number of topics. I think we got like 6 of them lined up for you guys. But then in the second part of the show, due to popular demand, I announced this on open mic on Saturday. A lot of you guys have asked for us to bring the super chats back. So the super chats are open, and we will go and take your live questions in the second part of the show. All right, guys, with that all down, let's get things started here, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. You know, popcorn buckets have become a really big thing now. I remember a couple of movies put out, you know, their own unique, individualized, special popcorn buckets, and they were very popular. Of course, some of the big ones, the Dune one, the Deadpool and Wolverine one, and now it seems like everybody's doing them. Some of them are kind of boring. Some of them are really, really, really good. Well, Spider-Man Brand New Day has just put out a popcorn bucket, and some people have deemed the new popcorn bucket the Jizz Tornado, which you will see here as we talk about why is Jonathan in this shot. I know why Jonathan's in this shot, because this is supposed to be up here.
There we
go. So the Jizz Tornado, the Jizz Tornado is coming, and it's coming in hot, because down here you can see the new thing there. I don't know if there's a lot of commentary needed. The word, the word.
The worst part is it's a drink, so you have to put your head down in it to get a sip from the
Not
straw.
to mention, look at the drink cup down there. It's got like a thin film of spider jizz down on the bottom. And the word that
dream.
Comes a web dream. Not to be confused with the wet dream. It is a web dream. The word for me that comes to mind apparently seems to be sploosh. Sploosh is the word that comes to mind when I look at this. And that's interesting. I believe this is Cinemark's, by the way. I don't think this is AMC's or Regal's. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I think this is Cinemark's. Here's the other thing that comes to my mind when I look at this. You guys know that when the Dune one came out with the sandworm, everybody called it the Fleshlight Plus, right? It looked like, even Saturday Night, do you guys remember this? Even Saturday Night Live did a sketch on it, remember? On that Dune popcorn bucket. Clearly what this thing is used for.
It went hugely viral.
And it went massively viral. Then, of course, Deadpool and Wolverine put out theirs, like with the butter dripping off his lips and everything. The innuendo was clear. That was purposeful, right? That was clear and obvious. When I look at this, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but there is no way any committee of people can look at that and not say, I have notes. And kind of maybe perhaps identify that there might be something wrong with that. It reminds me of when I used to live in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, and the farmers board, the governance board of farmers decided, people needed to eat more pork. and they put up billboards across the province that were meant to read pork, da 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 da, the one you love. But no, it just read pork, the one you love. And it's like, did nobody in the room pick up on this? So guys, I have a theory. My
Pork,
theory
the one you
is
love.
pork, the one you love. My theory here is that this is not accidental. I think they understand the risque nature of this. Dare I say the filthy version of this is what's going to get people talking, because there's no way a room of marketing professionals sat down and looked at this and didn't say, you know what this kind of looks like? And so I'm going to go out on a limb here, guys, and guess that this was actually intentional. Rob, did you see this popcorn bucket? What did you think of it, and how many are you going to buy?
Now, not until just now have I seen it, but I would like to offer maybe a little bit of an explanation, because I look at that and I think, would I display that on my shelves? And the thing is, what that makes me want to look at is we're looking at it like this, where you see the thing coming out. But I'll bet you if you turned it around and you saw just the spider, just the spider hand with the spider, and you'd see the webbing, but you'd see the webbing in the back of it and coming out like this. It might scream Spider-Man more than it does turn the other way that we're looking at right now.
It might also scream shocker, which I'm not, if you guys don't understand that term, I'm not going to go into it. Which is
he's not
also
just a Spider-Man villain.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Shocker ain't just a Spider-Man villain, everybody. Again, I'm left to wonder if this is done on purpose. I don't know, Rob. I mean, I can see it back there, maybe in front of your James Bonds, maybe hyping
Shockers
this up.
take, some shockers give.
Shockers give and shockers take. I don't know.
Look, you know what? Let's talk about the IMAX popcorn bucket that the Odyssey is offering us. It's highbrow. I'd love to get it. I saw Christopher Nolan present it to a cinematographer on a video. I prefer the discussion around that popcorn bucket.
Yeah, this one's unique. This is a creative. Okay, but let me ask both of you guys this. What do you think of my theory that they full well knew what this looked like, and they wanted to put it out like that because they knew it would get idiots like me here talking about? So, Rob, done intentionally or purely innocent?
Oh no. I think that that as a matter of fact, I think they probably called Ryan Reynolds and sent him pictures for his consultation.
So what do you think?
I just think that this is, look, I think the popcorn bucket arms race has always been it's been kind of fun.
I've never heard that phrase before, but that's exactly
Popcorn
what it is.
and I'll tell you, the popcorn, I did buy the Yautja ship for
This was
Predator,
definitely an arm race.
for Predator. Here I was thinking I could make this an erudite discussion again. I did buy the Yautja popcorn bucket from Predator Badlands, the actual ship.
Well, you are a master debater, Rob.
And a cunning linguist. Yeah. But I did buy that ship because, it's legitimately a pretty great replica of the ship. And with a little weathering, a little painting, a little work, you can definitely display it here in the Robservatory. And the IMAX camera is really, really cool too. That really is a real popcorn bucket for the Odyssey. But this, I mean,
yeah. I mean, but bottom line, on purpose or innocent?
Dude, it's definitely, look, you know what? I think somebody tried to push it off as innocent because they showed it from the other direction. Look, it's Spider-Man doing his famous, he's doing the spider. He's
you can't even bring yourself to do it now, can you? You can't even bring yourself to do it now. You just got to do it with the full flat hand.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, Jonathan, what about you? Like an innocent sort of thing that just us with dirty minds? or on purpose?
I think there's an argument to be made that it's innocent and we're looking for euphemism. However, it also doesn't hurt the fact that once you make these things go viral on this level, then people are just going to go out, not only get Spider-Man tickets, but they're going to buy that because they want to be part of the joke, especially if they're content creators. They're going to buy it and show it and make jokes about it. But people are going to get it because they're going to be like, remember when this happened? And they're going to stick it next to their Dune, their Dune cup, you know?
By the way,
it's funny now.
Just to be clear, like we've got like some people in the live chat, like Top Gun is saying, I don't see anything dirty, to be honest. And you know what? If you just look
it could be a stretch.
It might be a stretch. Maybe it's a stretch. But when a lot of people see it, I got to believe somebody in the room saw it. But I don't know. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about the new Spider-Man bucket? I think it was totally done on purpose to get juvenile delinquents like myself talking about it. But whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, last night, not only yesterday did I get to go to my first World Cup soccer game, and it was a 0-0 draw between Belgium and Iran. But I'll tell you what, it was one of the most exciting, fun games I'd ever been to. It was a blast. I definitely want to go to another World Cup game. But not only did I get to do that, but when I came home, we got to watch the season 3 premiere of House of the Dragon. Now, just to put this into a bit of context, I'm a huge fan of this show. I think it's fantastic. And I know that there were some people that weren't all that big on season 2. I don't give a crap. I thought season 2 was brilliant. I was hooked on it and I loved it. And so we lead into season 3, and boy, did they kick things off with a bang. Oh my God. I couldn't have been happier with the first episode of season 3, not only because we got to see Matt Smith back as Daemon Targaryen, but also we see Chibs from Sons of Anarchy leading his army through the woods, joining up with Daemon Targaryen. That I just love seeing Chibs show up in anything. So that was a cool thing to see. The Battle of the Gullet. By the way, did any of you guys watch? I know you didn't see, Jonathan, but Rob, did you see the making of the episode feature that they put out? They constructed these ships. They created these 6 gimbal things to make the boats look like they rocked. They had the ships running into each other. They created like 2-3 million gallon things of water so they could do above water stuff and below water stuff. I mean, they just went all out in the practical aspects to make it look as practically cool as possible. And I just, and ladies and gentlemen, the greatest, you got Littlefinger, you got the Hound, you got the Mountain. The greatest nickname in the history of the universe of Game of Thrones is now Bitch Fist. That is the best name in the world. It's like, God, that's cool. That is especially for her. That was such a cool name.
That's my name for the Spider-Man bucket.
They should put that right on there. The Dragon Act, there was, we're not going to go too much into spoilers here, but there were shocks and twists. And I'm telling you, man, the ending of the episode shocked me. It absolutely stunned me and broke my heart. Completely broke my heart. I mean, so the practical effects were great. The dragons were great. That scene too, there's a scene in it where Rhaenyra is locked in a room. I won't go into the context, but she's pissed, right? And she gives this short speech that like was really moving and really powerful, very Game of Thrones universe-ish. And I'll just tell you what, man, I often find myself in the minority when it comes to talking about Game of Thrones and the different things, but I don't care. I thought this was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait for episode 2. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to watch House of the Dragon, season 3, episode 1. What did you think about it?
John, I watched it twice.
Really?
Yeah, I watched twice last night. First of all, a shout out. The man who directed last night's episode, Lonnie Perister, is a guy I've known in LA for more than 35 years maybe. And, you know, he started working in special effects early on. He was one of the youngest people I knew who ever had children. And he has just quietly worked his way up the Hollywood system, doing amazing work. And my interactions with him were from my friend Paul Salamoff, and to see him direct that episode and be able to wield as much live action and special effects and CG, and he brought everything he'd learned to bear over the last 30 years to that episode. And I'm like, shout out to Lonnie, because well done, sir. Very proud of you. Not that you need my approval, but you did good. You've done good, son. But that episode, John, I was gobsmacked by that episode. And I was the human drama coupled with the effects drama, and you're in multiple locations. I mean, with huge amounts of extras, and the stunt work and the fighting and the violence and the everything that was going on. I was just sitting there going, oh my God. Now, it's definitely, now here's the thing. Did it, you know, like did it reach like the effects heights of something like Battle of the Bastards when you see Jon Snow run through it might not have reached those heights, but it was so ambitious. It was easily one of the most ambitious hours and 15 minutes of TV that I've seen maybe ever. The scope, the scale, the drama, the acting, everybody brought their A game to this episode. And I thought to myself, you know, as I watch most of the cool shows, I'm like, why can't Star Trek be this good? But anyway, I'll leave that for another day. But John, I just thought that this was peak Thrones, and coming off of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And they showed normally I don't watch the recaps at the beginning of episodes, but since this was a new season, I watched the recap, and I was like, damn, I love this show. And I love all the actors, and they've done such a great job. Emma Darcy is one of the most beautiful people on the planet Earth, and she so embodies Rhaenyra Targaryen. She's so good. And like you said, that scene, and I kept thinking when the episode was over, I'm like, when she finds out what's happened,
oh my
God, she's gonna kill everybody in her own court.
You know what
for doing that to her.
When that happened, I thought, and again, we're not going to go into the specific details, but I thought this reminds me of how I felt when Vanessa died in Daredevil. And I'm like, things are going. By the way, at this point with, all the seasons of Game of Thrones and now House of the Dragon, we have become accustomed to the world of Game of Thrones doing things to try to make us feel uncomfortable. And maybe, oh, that's twisted, right? And so you'd think we've gotten used to it. There is something that happens in this episode that made me go, it's just like, oh, no. And oh my God.
John, a shout out to Lonnie who directed that, because the cameras from far away, not that far away, kind of a wide medium, and camera's pushing in for a really long time. And I'm just like, don't.
Here's another thing that again, without giving details or anything like that, but every once in a while an episode happens where more of a background character or a secondary character gets a real moment to jump up, right? And I thought Sea Snake's son, his eldest son, this was the episode. Like if he becomes a real significant character in the show, I think we're going to look back to this episode to say this is the one where he was really given a chance to shine. And one of the things I loved about it was in the making of afterwards, he's like, the actor who plays him, he's like, man, it's supposed to be this big, dire, life or death, dreadful, bloody battle going on. And they had to hold recording so often because I was just grinning like an idiot. He goes, I was having so much fun. Like they showed a shot of them getting ready to yell action. And he's still sitting there like holding his sword. It's like, no, it's serious. And that like little stuff like that just really makes me fall in love with it. So I thought he was a big standout in this episode. I thought he was great.
And there was a great line when when Damon is standing there on the battlefield and another group of folks show up, and it's a tense moment. And once it's resolved, he just looks up and says, "Well, there's more lions to hunt."
Yeah.
It just was like, oh man, because you saw lions dead, but I just thought that was that made me chuckle. That was a bonding moment for characters.
Oh, that was so great. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you guys have a chance to watch House of the Dragon season 3's premiere episode? We loved it. I mean, I was absolutely thrilled with it, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, we talked about a week or so ago that the projections for Toy Story 5 was looking at 150 million, maybe bigger, opening weekend. And we knew it was going to be huge, which would make it the biggest opening weekend of the year. Well, Toy Story 5 is now out. It's in theaters, and it exceeded those numbers. Toy Story 5, forget the 312 worldwide. That's not important. Made $160 million on its opening weekend domestically, which shatters several records. Number one, it by far makes it the biggest opening of the year so far. It also, to put things a little bit into context here, it also means by far, it is the biggest opening for a Toy Story movie ever. As we take a look at this, so Toy Story had a $29.1 million opening in 1995. Toy Story 2 jumped up, $57.4 million. Toy Story 3 took a significant jump up in 2010 with $110.3 million. Toy Story 4 again came out and it eclipsed that, making $118 million. But look at that jump. Look at that jump from Toy Story 4 to Toy Story 5, making $160 million. And a reminder, those two other films, Toy Story 3 with $110 million opening and Toy Story 4 with $118 million opening, both of those films went on to be billion-dollar films. They both went on to be billion-dollar films. Now, that's great for an opening weekend, but your movie has to be good in order to have any kind of legs. I thought Toy Story 5 was wonderful. I don't think it's as good as Toy Story 3. And I'm not quite sure how I measure it against Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2 yet. It's definitely better than Toy Story 4, which I also really enjoyed. I enjoyed Toy Story 4, even though I think it's the least good of the Toy Story movies. This is a great movie. Toy Story 5 is a great movie. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And when you look at the critic reviews and you look at maybe even more importantly, the audience reviews, both north of 90%, this thing's going to have legs. And now, why is that important? Well, let's look at this in comparison to a couple of other recent massive animated films. Okay. So with $160 million opening, that means that Toy Story 5 has a bigger opening than Inside Out 2 did and a bigger opening than Zootopia 2 did. Now, why is that important? Inside Out 2 at $155 million opening, it went on to make over $1.6 billion. Zootopia 2, with a $100 million opening, went on to become the highest grossing animated film of all time at $1.8 billion. And it opened to 100. Toy Story 5 just opened to bigger than both of them at 160. Now, of course, obviously, that does not automatically mean that Toy Story 5 will go on to make more money than Inside Out 2 or Zootopia. Again, point out, Inside Out 2 had a much bigger opening than Zootopia 2 did, but Zootopia 2 actually ended up having a bigger overall box office by the end.
Huge box
billion.
office.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. 1.6 billion for Inside Out 2, 1.8 billion for Zootopia 2. So Toy Story 5 had a $160 million opening. obviously does not automatically mean it'll be bigger than either of those. It will depend, because Zootopia just had massive legs. Massive legs. It just maintained and maintained and maintained as families went back again and again and again. Will Toy Story 5 have that same effect? I don't know that it'll have the same legs that Zootopia did, because Zootopia really is targeted more at kids, whereas Toy Story 5 is kid friendly. It's a lot of the themes are also very adult themes. I think the kids that were in the theater when I saw it were having a blast. Like, the kids that were in the theater when I saw it were absolutely having a blast with the film. So I feel pretty comfortable, guys, saying that I think Zootopia or Toy Story 5 will end up being the next member of the $1 Billion Club. I feel pretty good about that, especially when you compare it to Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4 had a much bigger opening than those. And both of those movies made over $1 billion. It had a bigger opening than Inside Out 2 or Zootopia 2. Both of those well cleared $1 billion. One of them closing in on $2 billion. And I think Toy Story 5 is good enough that it will have enough legs, enough repeat business and stuff like that to get there. Again, I don't know that it'll catch Inside Out 2 at 1.6. I don't know that it'll catch Zootopia 2 at 1.8. But I do think it'll be the next $1 billion film. Rob, you saw Toy Story 5. We talked about how big they were projecting the numbers to be. They ended up being bigger. What do you think about this opening? Is it something they should be happy with? And how big ultimately do you think this thing can be?
Well, one, I mean, you and I both shared a love of this movie. I thought this movie was absolutely delightful. And what sequel, what number 5 in a series of movies has any right to be as good as this does? And so that said, I thought the movie was just delightful, wonderful. I was emotionally involved. And to see, like you, the audience that I saw it with, I saw it in IMAX, was packed. And it was, like I told you, it was a multi-generational audience. I mean, I saw some little kids with their folks, and they were all 4 wearing Toy Story shirts. And they, this is now a multi, I wouldn't be surprised if grandparents are going with their kids that are taking their kids. And this is a total family friendly. That's what I think is amazing about this. It's like what all great children's movies used to be. They used to be kid friendly, but also they were for everybody. Star Wars was certainly like that, and Disney live action movies like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Mary Poppins were like that. And Pixar has always been very mindful of that, especially this is their premier franchise. So again, there's no reason that this movie shouldn't get all the money. And I think that Disney has been very mindful of where they're at with their animated fare. And, throughout the history of Disney, they drifted sort of away. There was a time when they made something like The Black Cauldron. It was a great try, but it just didn't work out. And Pixar sort of brought Disney back, beginning with things like The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. But then Pixar arose out of that. And it's nice to see a company like Pixar come back on top, because pound for pound, they're the greatest animated company of all time. And they had they lost their way a little bit, but this is their key. This is the cornerstone foundational franchise of Pixar. And to see it come back roaring out like this, I think money wise, it's probably going to do, I could see this doing 1.5, 1.8. This could definitely do Zootopia 2 numbers, because I think it has a lot of rewatchability. And we're just in the middle of June. We have the rest of the summer.
Jonathan, I remember you mentioning to me you had tickets to go see Toy Story 3 or Toy Story 5. Did you get around to seeing it? And if so, what did you think about it?
I really liked it. I don't know where it ranks for me, but I enjoyed it a lot. I think I might have even enjoyed it more than Part 4. I had only recently saw Part 4 because I realized I never saw it. So I watched it recently to lead up to this. But, someone made a comment and you flashed it on screen. I was thinking it really went with what Rob was saying, is that, if someone was 45 when they saw the first one, they might have had a kid. 45, they're 76 now.
Unbelievable.
Isn't that really crazy to think about?
Dude, somebody who saw this when they were 30 could have grandkids now.
Are in their 60s now
and
retiring. Yeah. So it's crazy. But I mean, The question for me is it's going to be over. It's going to be 1 billion. I have no doubt about that. The question for me is, when do one of these crack 2 billion? Because they are creeping closer and closer to 2. So who knows? This could be the one.
Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Toy Story 5 has just not only opened as the biggest film of the year so far, it's also shattered the previous franchise record. How big do you think it can ultimately be? Do you think it's good enough to get much bigger? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, there are some television themes that, people in our kind of sphere will recognize immediately. That you don't have to hum too many bars, like dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da da dun da. Everybody knows what that is. You can hum bum 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 bum. Everybody knows what that is. But I would submit to you that right up there with some of the most memorable themes ever for a certain demographic that we happen to be in, if you hum the tune na 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 na. We all know you're talking about X-Men, right? So anyway, X-Men 97 came back and, had its first season, which was a throwback and a continuation of the original animated series. And while it's not full-blown epic filmmaking storytelling, it is very Twitter, small, bite-sized narrative storytelling, but I thought they did a great job with it. I really enjoyed X-Men 97 Season 1, had a lot of fun with it. I stayed up till midnight every night they were dropping new episodes to watch them. And again, they're very bite-sized, smaller, shorter form stuff, so it was easy to consume. Well, everybody's been waiting really anxiously for Season 2, and the reviews for Season 2 are now here. And Season 2 is debuting with a 100% from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Granted, it's just about 20 of them right now, so it's probably going to come down a little bit at some point. But the very fact that there are already 20 out there, and it's sitting at 100%, that says things. So let's take a second here and look at just some of the reviews that we've had coming out for X-Men 97 so far. We're going to start off here with Big Gold Belt Media, who wrote, "Bigger, weirder, and once again heartbreaking in all the ways an X-Men story should be, and yet still understands exactly why these characters matter." Stereo Geeks writes, "Expect things to go big. You know how they say sequels have to be bigger and bolder? X-Men 97 Season 2 takes that literally, and the story is huge, literally spanning multiple timelines, so many characters and their interweaving dynamics." Fandom Wire really liked this, said, "There's something so impressive about the way this show manages to translate the convoluted nonsense out of the comic book storylines into something digestible while still earnestly committing to the bit of said nonsense." Empire Magazine liked it, saying, "X-Men 97 second season continues to build on the mutants' rich history in fresh, exciting, and unpredictable ways. The years-long wait for its return was worth it." TV Line liked it, saying, "An epic story that will leave casual viewers enthralled and comic book diehards satisfied." Alberto Carlos wrote, "The feeling of watching a comic book, incredibly rare with this myriad of adaptations out there, is what creates a sense of magic and adventure that continues on here." And it just goes on. Everybody liked it. Everybody liked it. Again, I don't put X-Men 97, and I'm somebody who really enjoyed Season 1, and I've been very, very excited for Season 2. I don't put it on the same level as, say, watching, X-Men Days of Future Past, where you actually go deep, long form storytelling. The X-Men 97 shows are very small. They take like what should be hour-long ideas and condense them into 10 minutes, then with another one. But whereas a lot of other people would try to do that and fumble it and make it feel incomplete or really super rushed, they managed to find a way to really condense everything, tell these stories in very bite-sized morsels, and yet still make it feel like a very compelling and satisfying dining experience. And I, for one, have really enjoyed it, and I'm glad Season 2's back. Rob, you're seeing these reviews now are coming out. What did you think of X-Men 97 season 1? How do you think it's going to do in season 2? And what's standing out to you about the reviews we've seen here so far?
Well, I mean, I liked the original animated series. I liked X-Men 97 quite a bit. And it doesn't surprise me. I mean, obviously there was the kerfuffle with Bo DeMeo, the original showrunner, leaving.
Mm-hmm.
The
And
ongoing kerfuffle.
The ongoing kerfuffle.
That he will simply not let go.
The ongoing kerfuffle. It's not a good kerfuffle. But anyway, I'm looking really forward to this. As I've often said, I am very passionate about the X-Men. I'm a huge fan. There was one point, John, in our old studio where I had all the X-Men figures I had set up.
Yep.
Big. And I love the X-Men. So I'm really excited to dip into this. And it seems like we're going through a sort of a bit of an X-Men renaissance with X-Men 97 coming out. Then John Byrne's Elsewhen. John Byrne, one of the architects of the modern X-Men, along with Chris Claremont, had been doing an X-Men comic on his website that's now being collected and published this month. And of course, we've got the live action representation of the X-Men once again coming in Doomsday. And I am just, maybe there's, I'm maybe in the grips of a little X-Men mania. So I can't wait to sit down. I don't know. Are they dropping all the episodes at once, or do we have to wait weekly to get them? Do we know?
Last season they did week to week because I would stay.
Yeah, I would assume it's that. We're going to get like 3 episodes up front.
I hope so. Well,
yeah.
Something along those lines. By the way, I just want to mention something about this graphic here. First of all, my all-time favorite comic book character ever, Magneto. Whenever somebody asks, what's an X-Men or even just a Marvel character that you would love to see a movie centered on, I've for 10 years, I've been saying Bishop. So I love seeing Bishop. And is it just me, or does Professor X look like he's doing that Adam West Batman dance in the background? Come on, you can't tell me that doesn't look like he's doing the Adam West Batman dance. Anyway, I just kind of threw that out there. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The first reviews for X-Men 97 season 2 are out. And as of right now, they're a perfect 100%. Like, everybody is really enjoying it. Did you like the first season? Have you been looking forward to the second season? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, Thundercats, ho! A movie we've been waiting a very, very long time for. That's for somebody to try and do. When I say a long time, I'm literally talking decades. Has been a Thundercats movie. As a matter of fact, you guys know, we've talked about this on the show. About 25 years ago, somebody with very, very rudimentary visual effects tools available to the average person at the time.
Yeah.
Somebody made a Thundercats fake trailer, live action Thundercats trailer, using Hugh Jackman as Tigra, Brad Pitt as Lion-O, and other characters, and made it look like they were Thundercats. Vin Diesel as Panthro. And if you guys haven't seen it, go look it up. Just look up Thundercats trailer Brad Pitt, and you'll be this. And remember, it was done decades ago. So people have been really wanting it. I even remember a James McAvoy interview from years ago when somebody asked him, what's one live action movie you'd really love to see done? And he said, oh man, Thundercats. And it goes on to why, right? Now, recently though, we had Masters of the Universe, which is of the same era as Thundercats, came out, totally flopped at the box office. Regardless of what you thought about it, it flopped. A lot of people I know liked it. I was a little bit disappointed with it, to be honest, but regardless, it didn't make any money. And a lot of people, including myself on this show, has said, well, that probably seals the fate of Thundercats ever getting made. But hold on a minute. Maybe not, at least to a degree. Because Warner Brothers at a convention recently just announced that they are in fact developing a Thundercats movie. Now, you guys might remember a couple of years ago, there was some word going around that Adam Wingard, of course, of Godzilla X Kong and that stuff, he was developing one. There's no word about whether or not this is Adam Wingard's or if that one's died and now they're doing something else. But Warner Brothers announced they are doing a Thundercats movie. The caveat to that is it's going to be animated. They're not going to take a swing at doing it as a live action film. They're doing it animated. The other thing we don't know, which is rather key and important here, is whether or not they intend this to be theatrical. Are they going to make a theatrical Thundercats movie? Or is this going to be a Thundercats movie that gets the proverbial dumpage onto a streaming service? Whether that's HBO Max or whether that's going to be Paramount Plus, depending on how the winds blow. Not really sure. The third question we have, at least I have, is that will it be a slightly campy, but trying to be kind of serious like the original animated series was with Mum-Ra, the ever-living, ancient spirits of evil, transform this decrepit form. Anyway, will they go with that? Or did any of you guys see that Thundercats thing they made a couple of years ago that looked more like Adventure Time than it did like Thundercats? It was really silly. Like
I never watched it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it was aimed at 5-year-olds.
I saw it.
I mean, if they're doing that, just count me and probably everybody else out. So again, a couple of very big questions involved here. Is it what's the tone they're going to go for in it? Will it be theatrical or will it be straight to streaming? Anyway, that's kind of the questions that I have right now. But Rob, regardless, even animated, I've got to admit, I'm shocked after what happened with Masters of the Universe that they're going to take a swing at Thundercats. Pleasantly shocked because I want to see Thundercats, but I don't think anybody else does at this point. So I don't know. What do you make of all this and what do you think they're going to do with it?
Well, obviously, if they've announced it, this is something that's been in the works for some time. And maybe they put it into active development because of the He-Man movie. But an animated Thundercats movie could be successful. I mean, if it depends, like you said, on the tone of it all. I just question, Thundercats has very fond memories of a very limited amount of time for people because Thundercats didn't endure the decades. Just like He-Man really did endure the decades. It wasn't like constantly being reinvented. And He-Man was constantly being reinvented, but none of it actually really stuck every time they tried to figure it out. It was really that 82 to 87 period. Even when the first theatrical feature came out with Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, it was waning. So Thundercats, no one knows Thundercats. A younger audience that it might appeal to, if they approach it as an entirely new franchise and they can update the storytelling, update the characters. I'm not saying change them in terms of, to our political climate. I'm talking about updating them so a brand new audience of kids, as well as adults, will love it and embrace it. And if they can do that, the thing about Thundercats is those characters were fun. The world of the Thundercats. The word Thundercats is fun to say. So it's like, I think if they can come up with a great script, and I would say if Warner Brothers is announcing it, they have a solid script, they have the people they want to make it, they have confidence in them, and they're willing to drop the green, which is most important. So I think I would say that even despite He-Man's success, the fact that they announced it now, they probably know they have something good. So I'll be excited about it.
By the way, I got to throw this out there. So I was just saying that nobody went to go see Masters of the Universe and that didn't make any money. One of our live chat viewers said, Brian wrote, "Wrong again, John. Masters of the Universe just made $100 million. And yes, Masters of the Universe worldwide has now made $101 million. It needs to make about $350 million to break even.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to probably be the biggest money-losing movie of the year. So, unfortunately, no. I love Travis Knight. I wanted this movie to be super successful. I've been cheering for this movie all year, but no, make no mistake about it. This movie lost a lot of money. It lost a small nation's worth of money. It failed to make 1/4 of a Black Adam. So I mean, it is what it is. You know what I fear about this Thundercats thing? Doing a Thundercats animated movie. Here's the thing I worry about. They made in my opinion, an insanely great Transformers animated movie in Transformers 1. That movie was great.
It was really good. I liked it.
Way better than it had any business being.
I caught up with it later and it was good.
And nobody went to go see it. I was so disappointed when I saw the box office numbers coming in, because now granted, the trailers, they didn't do a good job marketing it. They did not. The trailers didn't look great. But so I was really surprised by just how good the movie was. And certainly better than that god-awful abomination one that they put out 30 years ago. Hey kids, you like your Transformers? We're going to kill them all in the first 5 minutes.
You've got the
Now buy
power,
these new
John.
toys.
You've got the power. Orson
got
Welles
the
and
touch.
Leonard Nimoy.
God,
Come on.
you effing assholes just killed Ironhide. Yeah, but we're giving you Cup. Isn't Cup cool? What the fuck is a cup? Anyway, I'm not going to go off on that whole thing again. But I just fear, guys, that them doing another, like doing this as an animated thing, I just don't know that anybody's going to go see it. But I will file this one again under the I'm going to see it. Like, I've been wanting another like good take on Thundercats for ages. So animated or not, I'm going to definitely check it out and I'll look forward to watching it. I just don't know if anybody else will. So we'll have to see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Apparently, they're going to try making a Thundercats movie. Granted, it's going to be animated, and I have no idea what tone they're going to go for or where it's destined to go, whether it's going to be theatrical or streaming. But they're making one nonetheless. Do you guys have hope for it? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Some of you may have heard, if you pay attention, if you travel in certain circles and you follow some smaller sites online, you might have heard that there's a new Avengers movie coming. It's going to be called Avengers.
Cool.
Yeah, isn't that neat? They're really stepping out there. They're really taking a risk, going out there, taking the old big swing, and they're going to try to do. They got Robert Downey Jr. coming back.
Oh, nice. So this will have the actors we're familiar with in it.
Yes,
This is all news to me.
Yes.
Are we going to get more Iron Man armors for Hot Toys to make?
For every other character. That's right. Every character. Shang-Chi's going to get Iron Man armor. Yelena's going to get Iron Man armor. Iron Man armor for everybody.
Cool popcorn bucket with no innuendos at all.
no, probably like Dr. Doom's cod piece is going to be the popcorn bucket or something like that. Anyway, we do have a new Doomsday movie coming, and they showed us the trailer for it at CinemaCon all the way back in April. And I was convinced that, yeah, give it a couple of days and they're going to drop this trailer online. Well, a couple of months have passed, and they've still not even so much as released the trailer online for people to see. But ladies and gentlemen, start your engines, because it looks like they are getting ready to go full pedal to the metal of Avengers Doomsday marketing. Now, we had heard some whispers, and we're not the only ones. Many of you guys heard this too. It's not like it's just us. A lot of you guys heard this, that Marvel was really starting to look at really kickstarting their full-blown, full-force, all engines revving marketing campaign blitz for Avengers Doomsday at Comic-Con coming up, which is probably where they're going to drop the trailer for the first time. Well, they're getting started early. Comic-Con is coming next month, but already around San Diego, Comic-Con banners have started to go up. Now, there are others as well, but the ones that everybody's taking notice of is the Avengers Doomsday banners that are going up. Even so much coloring the Comic-Con logo in the Avengers Doomsday green. Now, this is going to mean probably a lot of different things. First of all, it means they are absolutely 100% dropping this trailer. Now, how close this trailer is going to be to the one that we saw at CinemaCon, don't really know. Like Rob thinks right now, Rob kind of thinks it's going to be significantly different. I think it'll be significantly the same. Maybe it'll be somewhere in between. But that's the first thing, is that they are definitely going to be dropping the trailer there. Like I thought they would have dropped it much earlier. They didn't. They're holding it off for Avengers Doom. I thought we might get trailer number 2 at Comic-Con, but no, they decided to sit on the trailer as it is, and they're going to drop it come Comic-Con. That's one thing. I think the second thing we're going to get from the Marvel panel at Comic-Con is I think we're going to get more characters on stage. Now, I don't know that we're going to get characters that haven't been announced yet. Like, I don't know that we're getting a Chair Watch 2, but I think they're going to be bringing out characters on stage that we either already officially know or we've all heard is going to be in the movie. For example, I think, I forget Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel's actress's real name. She's a good Canadian girl, and I'm freezing on her name. Anyway, they might bring her out. They might bring out Haley Steinfeld or stuff like that, kind of bring that out as well. And I think we're going to have a moment, like one of my favorite moments, guys, of any marketing event I've been to was I was at the El Capitan Theater, which is owned by Disney in Hollywood, when Kevin Feige was doing the big Phase 3 announcements. And on stage, they brought Captain America, Chris Evans, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., and Chadwick Boseman came out on stage, introduced as T'Challa. And they had this great visual of Cap and Iron Man on either side grabbing Chadwick Boseman's arms, like having a tug of war with him, saying Civil War is coming, right? I think we are going to have a similar moment with Chris Evans back in Marvel again, back on the stage, Robert Downey Jr. back on the stage. I don't think they're going to be tug of warring with anybody, but I think we're going to have some big, huge moment, likened unto Tom Hiddleston's Loki moment. Maybe even Tom Hiddleston comes out on stage this time.
Could be.
Maybe he even introduces the whole damn thing. I don't know. But guys, I really believe that, is this fair to say? I don't think Marvel has ever had more riding on a Comic-Con presentation than they do this time. Because every time they've done a Marvel presentation, Marvel's always been at the height of their popularity and height of their hype.
Right.
Now, today, it's lower. It's lower than it's ever been. It's not bad right now, and it's been recovering. It's pretty good, but it's lower than it's ever been. And I dare say that they have more writing on this Comic-Con presentation than on any other Comic-Con they've had. And I think they're going to blow the doors off. So Rob, let me go over to you here. What do you think that Marvel might be giving us at this Comic-Con? Or am I looking too much into this? Do you think it's going to be just your standard big Marvel presentation? Or do you think they might pull out all the stops and do something really big and different?
No, I'm with you. They're going to have, look, I think that Marvel, their latter half, the back half of 2026 belongs to them. And we're getting 3 things that I am deliriously excited about. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. We're getting Vision Quest that comes from
can't wait for that.
Terry Metalis, who
that'll be on display too at Comic-Con.
I hope it's on display. I mean, I hope they don't just go, well, we're relegating that to Disney Plus, because you're bringing back James Spader as Ultron and you're bringing back Paul Bettany, and those 2 guys alone can command a Comic-Con stage. And then we're leading up to Doomsday. Yeah. And I think these 3 things. Now, I don't know how Spider-Man is going to tie in, if at all, to Doomsday. And I don't know how Vision Quest will tie in to Doomsday. And, I would assume probably both don't, but they'll probably go into Secret Wars. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, Marvel has great product. At least I would assume they do. And they've got, and I know a lot of people, look, Doomsday is I think, make or break for Marvel. I mean, Doomsday can't just make $1 billion. It can't just make $1.5 billion. This movie has to do Endgame numbers, which is a tall order.
I disagree.
I think it really does. I think it really does, because especially you've got Spider-Man that's revving up the engine. You've got Vision Quest as a little snack before the main course. I mean, these 3 things should give you peak Marvel. And I mean, this story is ginormous. It's epic, and it's no longer about Robert Downey Jr. You're basically setting up Secret Wars, which I think these two things are huge, and a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of hopes and dreams are here. And I think this is going to be, like you said, the biggest Comic-Con MCU panel ever. I was there when I was in the room. Well, I was in the room when they announced Age of Ultron and they showed the logo. It was the most bananas Hall H panel I've ever been at, ever. And they're going to outdo it.
Oh, for sure.
We're going to get Chair Watch 2, bruh.
Oh, I hope that's all it is. I hope it's just a bunch of damn chairs.
It's just
on the
a
stage.
bunch of chairs, and every 7 minutes, one actor walks out and just quietly sits down.
Well, they should leave the chairs without the backings, and have the chairs and everybody shows their backing and slides it and sits down.
I have to disagree with you that it has to be as big as Avengers Endgame. I mean, that's a $2.8 billion movie. There's nothing that requires this movie that it has to make. So you're saying if this movie makes $1.9 billion, that's a failure?
I'm not saying it's a failure.
But you're saying it has to make $2.8 billion.
I'm saying, okay, when I say that, that's little hyperbole. But this is by far, it wouldn't surprise me that we find out that this is the most expensive movie ever made.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
With the cast alone and the hype and what they're trying to do. Now, the only thing that's going to make that happen is if the movie's great. And you know what? Going back and watching the Russo brothers 4 Marvel films, I mean, I watched Infinity War and Endgame way more than I care to admit. But I went back and watched Winter Soldier after I'd watched Civil War. Those 4 films are peak Marvel.
Yeah.
Peak. You can't get better than and that was the distillation of doing all those single movies and leading up to that. There are few of the Marvel individual films that reach the heights of the Russo brothers movie. I mean, Winter Soldier and Civil War, Captain America movies, but they have other characters in them. And I would hope, and the Russo brothers themselves are saying this is their, I mean, why are they not going to say that? But they're saying this is their best movie. And if they don't worry about running time and they totally embrace what we've considered, or what we know, I think this movie is going to blow people's minds.
Yep. Now
there's stuff that's going to happen in this movie that I don't even know what it's going to look like. Like, I just want to, I want to sit there in the theater and go, how are they going to do this? And they're going to do it. And I'm curious to see, how's that going to look? How's it going to look?
One of the things we got to keep in mind, though, as we're heading into Doomsday, is the fact that the status of Marvel right now is very, very different than what the status of Marvel was as we were approaching Endgame, right? Like, approaching Endgame, the hype, fever, love, popularity of Marvel was at its all-time peak. It's not like that today. Today, it's not like that. Now, they are building some momentum, right? I thought Thunderbolts was great. I thought Fantastic Four was quite good. Hopefully, Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to blow everybody away, and that'll work in its favor. But I still don't think, even if Spider-Man Brand New Day is great, I don't think we're at the same place as we were heading from Infinity War into Endgame. I think the big question is going to be, how big will Secret Wars do? Because listen, and this is a big if, and it might not happen, but I'm just saying if Doomsday is really as good as we think it has the potential to be, because it might not be, but if it is, Secret Wars could be the world's first $3 billion film. Like, Secret Wars could be the world's first $3 billion film. But depending on, does Spider-Man Brand New Day and Doomsday keep that momentum going and build that momentum? Because you know what I say, winning cures everything. And you string a couple of wins, particularly high profile wins like Brand New Day and Doomsday, we could be looking at a $3 billion Secret Wars. However, if Brand New Day disappoints and if Doomsday disappoints,
well, then and remember, I mean, if you think about in terms of zeitgeist and popular appeal, you also have X-Men 97 that have re-injected the X-Men into the fan base zeitgeist, and then you have a re-release of Endgame coming, and how much of the beginning of Doomsday they'll shoehorn into Endgame for running time lengths or whatever. I mean, they could do that, they could do that, but you've still got Endgame coming out. But what you've got, and then you've got Vision Quest coming out that everybody should be very excited about. That all of those things really give Marvel a lot of energy moving forward into the back half of 2026 in the lead up to Doomsday. Yeah. So I do think that even though it's compressed, I think that there's a love of Marvel that, because everyone still loves Marvel. We've just been disappointed. And I think if brand new
you sound like a parent.
Yeah. I mean,
I still love the second kid, but he's been a disappointment.
Okay, I'll put it in terms this episode deserves. This is going to be like 6 months of makeup sex with Marvel.
I mean, one can hope, because I again,
get those popcorn buckets ready.
A lot, and I'm glad you keep bringing up Vision Quest, because we keep forgetting about that. Like, that's going to be part of this rebuilding the momentum that Marvel has, quite frankly, lost over the last 5 or 6 years.
And they've done nothing. There is no hype around Vision Quest at all
yet.
And but even so, people should be. I mean, if you think about it, it's in October. I think the release date's in October. I know they probably.
It's going to get lost in the sauce if you drop that right now. You've got to.
I don't think you drop it right now.
100%.
But look, I mean, the Vision was one of the great additions to Age of Ultron, and as far as I know, I don't think Vision appears in Doomsday.
Doomsday, yeah.
But to give Paul Bettany, and basically it's a sequel, sort of, and spiritual, I guess, to WandaVision, which is their best show. And I know they're really, let's not cross the streams or whatever, but still. I mean, I think, and X-Men 97, they've got building up love for the X-Men, and the X-Men, obviously, they put front and center in Doomsday. So, I look forward to the makeup sex.
They'll probably do the first real big push for, I'm thinking, Vision Quest also at Comic-Con this year.
One can only hope.
Yeah, I think they will. But at the same time, Jonathan's right that they're going to have to be careful how they navigate it, because you don't want the Vision Quest stuff just to get lost in the sea of all the Doomsday stuff, even though it comes out before Doomsday. You can't compete with
Spider-Man. You got to get beyond Spider-Man. I don't mean completely. I just mean
I agree with that.
For a couple weeks, 3 weeks in the theaters, and then you can go, by the way, on Disney Plus, you thought Wonder Man was great. Check out, what we got here. Start hyping that up right before you go into Doomsday, is my opinion.
Here's a question I have for you guys. Right now, lest I be mistaken, Marvel doesn't have any announced projects coming out between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Well, there is X-Men, but I don't think it's between them.
But that's the thing. There's been no announced thing to come out between Secret Wars and Doomsday. Do we think they may announce at Comic-Con 1 or 2 theatrical projects that will come out between Doomsday and Secret Wars? Or would
they have time to make them, though?
Well, are they already making them?
Are they already making it?
Well, yeah, that's true. Already? That is true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether it's an X-Men thing or I don't think X-Men's coming out until after Secret Wars, to be honest with you. Could it be another Spider-Man movie? Could it be a Shang-Chi 2? Although Destin Cretton has been pretty busy with Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Rob, do you think they're going to announce any projects coming up between Doomsday and Secret Wars?
That's a tough one. I would, my initial thoughts would be no, but Captain Marvel certainly did well coming out between Infinity War and Doomsday. I mean,
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp 2 didn't, though.
No, but it still did around Ant-Man and Wasp numbers.
Yeah.
But is Secret Wars December of the next year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Boy,
2027.
You better be working on something already. If
that's the thing. They would literally have to go into production sometime between now and September. They would literally have to be in production to have something remotely ready to come out anywhere between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So it's going to be interesting.
Come out in like July. Yeah, that's where you'd want to drop
July,
it.
August, September, or you can push it a little bit later, but we'll see. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this. It looks like they are gearing up to have a big push for Avengers Doomsday starting at Comic-Con. Do you think they're going to finally drop the trailer? Obviously they will, but what else do you think they might be bringing to the stage? Do you agree with us that we think this will probably be the biggest swing they ever take at Comic-Con? Maybe yes, maybe no. Do you think they might have a project that they announced that will come out sometime between Doomsday and Secret Wars? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still have a number of things to talk about, which means your live comments and questions. You guys have been firing in a bunch of live comments and questions, and we're going to get to those in just a second. But before we do, we have a couple of things we need to do first. First is bid good afternoon to both Robert Meyer Burnett and Jonathan Voico. Great having you on, guys. We'll talk to you both again tomorrow.
Yes,
See
you
you
will.
guys later.
All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And before we get to your live question, guys, we're going to take a second, pay some bills around here, and thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Hims. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Hims. You know, one of the hardest things about trying to lose weight is just figuring out what actually works, because we've seen them all. There are a million trends, diets, and gimmicks out there, and honestly, it can get overwhelming. And that's why weight loss by Hims really stands out. Hims now offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, including the Wegovy pill at its lowest price ever, and the Wegovy pen. With Wegovy at Hims, lose up to 20% or more of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. It helps you regulate your appetite and eat less, so success is within reach. Plus, Wegovy is the first ever and only GLP-1 available in a pill for weight loss, so there are no needles needed. And the process is extremely convenient. Everything happens online. You connect with a licensed provider who determines if treatment is right for you, and if prescribed, your medication gets delivered right to your door. No insurance necessary. Ready to reach your goals? Visit hims.com/Campea to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's HIMS.com/Campea. hims.com/Campea. Based on advertised cash price for 30-day supply of medication only. Membership required, fee not included, and billed separately. Weight loss by Hims is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk AS. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information, and restrictions, visit hims.com. And thank you to our friends at Hims for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get over to your live questions you guys have sent in. Just, I've now turned off the super chats because we have a lot of them in there already and we got a limited amount of time. So we will open up again the super chats on tomorrow's show. But let's get over and see what you guys are asking about, shall we? We're going to start off here with Aaron, who writes in, I think the poly market bet for Doomsday versus Spider-Man box office only counts gross up to December 31st. So that's why Spider-Man is winning. Doom would have to beat Spider-Man's gross in 13 days to win. So for those of you who don't know what Aaron's talking about, over the weekend we did an open mic where we basically asked the question, do you think that Spider-Man, and by the way, Aaron sent in a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Aaron, for sponsoring us and supporting us on that level. It's very generous of you, man. So on open mic on the weekend, we were asking the question, can Spider-Man Brand New Day actually have bigger box office than Avengers Doomsday? And I quoted a poly market thing, which I don't use myself, but I have no problem with other people using it. Adults should be allowed to do adult things responsibly. But poly market had a thing, and on it, 64% of people believe Spider-Man would have the bigger box office than Doomsday. However, a few people pointed out to me, and like Aaron just did, and I think you're right, that particular poll was for the calendar year of 2026. But I went back and looked again. There is another thing in Polymarket where they straight up ask that the question is not what will be the biggest movie of 2026 in the calendar year, but asked which will be bigger, Spider-Man or Avengers Doomsday. And in another Polymarket thing, 56% of people actually think it's going to be Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, of course, on the weekend, I gave all the reasons why I don't think that's going to be the case. I encourage you to go back and watch Saturday's episode of Open Mic to see all my reasoning about why I believe Doomsday will clearly make more money than Spider-Man Brand New Day. But it was an interesting discussion. Anyway, you are right, Aaron. That one Polymarket thing was about the calendar year But even on the other one, people seem to vote Spider-Man, which is interesting. All right. Next up, we got Ryan Lonnie who writes, I'm really thrilled with House of the Dragon so far. Without spoiling, they crushed the gullet. To quote the books, if this be victory, I pray I never win another. Dude, I thought the episode was fantastic. We talked about it earlier in the show, but yeah, I absolutely thought the episode was completely fantastic. I thought season 2 was great. I mean, maybe not as good as season 1. Maybe it was. Anyway, but they're definitely off to a great start in season 2. And yes, the Battle of the Gullet did not disappoint. All right, next up. James McDonald writes, in Spidey trailer, Dr. Banner found a way to suppress mutant DNA. Is Banner's willingness to develop and use this tech a breadcrumb to an eventual Avengers versus X-Men and mutant suppression / distrust? It's possible, because you guys know in the trailer, Dr. Banner's wearing that device that Peter describes as suppressing mutation. Maybe that's how Dr. Banner created it. Maybe it's not. We'll find out in the movie. The reason I don't think they're going to make that a major plot thing with X-Men later on is because it's the exact same plot line of, what was the name of X-Men 3? I can't remember. Guys in the live chat, what was the name of the third X-Men movie? I can't remember now off the top of my head. But it was the exact same thing. Although it wasn't a device, I think it was an injection of some kind, right? And so it was the Last Stand. Thank you. Hayden, I think, was the first person to put that in there. Thank you, Hayden. Yeah, it was X-Men The Last Stand. That was the exact plot point in that movie, right? That, oh no, people have a way to suppress mutation. So do I think Marvel will just recycle that? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think you're crazy for asking the question because that could be very applicable. But remember, Bruce Banner's mutation is very different from mutants' mutation. Mutations in Peter Parker and Bruce Banner are not natural. They were triggered by something, right? In Bruce Banner's situation, it was gamma radiation. With Peter Parker's situation, it was being bit by a radioactive spider. Whereas true mutants are born with a gene that makes them different. It's a part of literal evolution. So maybe they will, maybe they won't. But again, I'm going to guess that they won't, only because it's the exact same plot point that we had in X-Men The Last Stand. But you never know. They might. They might. All right. Thanks for that, James. Next up, Rich Reviews writes, well, it's official. They're officially filming a Rami and Michelle's high school reunion 2. That is something I never thought we'd get a sequel to. And you know what? Here's the thing. When I first heard that they were doing that, I thought it was the dumbest idea in the world. But here was my other thought. How much is it really going to cost to make that sequel? Nothing. It's going to cost nothing. Now, it's going to cost more than Obsession, which was made for like $800,000. But I'll bet dollars to dimes that the production budget on this movie is going to be less than $25 million. Less. And do I think there's enough nostalgia factor out there for the original film to make 50 million at the box office, 60 million? Yeah, I do. So I actually think, again, as long as they keep it as cheap as I think they can, I think this might end up being a profitable little play for them. I really do. Anyway. All right. Rich also writes, podcast word recommendation. The first is Defunct Land, which covers discontinued amusement parks. That's interesting. And park attractions started in 2017. Interesting. I don't really follow park podcasts or YouTube channels, except for my friend Peter Soretta, the guy who's the founder of Slash Film. Him and his partner do like a really good parks tour YouTube channel. So I do recommend it, but I don't really follow park stuff otherwise, just to be honest with you. But thank you for the recommendation. All right. Isaac Sanchez writes, did you all have a good Father's Day yesterday? My Father's Day was great because even though I'm not a dad, but Ann and I got in the car at 8 in the morning, drove to SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles to get there really early for the World Cup game, my first ever World Cup match. And I got to tell you, man, it was awesome. It was really awesome. You know what? Let me say this. Sports really does set what I think should be an important example for movie fans. In the fact that sports brings people together. Now, sometimes soccer hooliganism and whatnot, but sports and movies should be things that, even though we love different things, should bring us all together. And I'll tell you what, for me, it was pretty awesome because Ann and I are hanging out outside of the stadium, right? We got this game between Iran and Belgium coming up. And it was awesome because you hear all these Belgian fans outside. Oh, hey, hey, hey. I thought that was a UK thing, but whatever. So they're doing that. And meanwhile, all these Iran fans are going, Iran, Iran, right? And then you see these people like these crazy Belgian fans dressed up with these massive wigs, cosplaying as French fries. I don't know what that was about, but it was pretty fun. And you see these Belgian fans. And then we see these Iranian fans like draped in their Iran flag and they're like dancing together. Like you see these Belgian and Iran fans, like each totally cheering for their own team, each with totally different favorites. But we're standing there and we're walking, we're literally seeing these people cosplayed in their Iran outfits and in their Belgian outfits, and they're dancing together, and just everybody was having a blast. Iran obviously wanted Belgium to lose. Belgium obviously wanted Iran to lose, but they were all there celebrating something they all loved, which was the sport, right? That is exactly what movie fandom should be. That's exactly what movie fandom should be. It should be about, hey, you love these movies and you love something else, and you don't like these movies and you don't like something else. None of that is material. We as movie fans should just all be able to celebrate movies together. Instead of turning into a world with, wait a minute, you like something I don't like? Well, fuck you. You're stupid. You're a shill. You're this. It's pathetic. And it represents the worst in humanity. Whereas it should be like that sports thing, man. It should be something that brings us all together. Not that we like the same things or dislike the same things, but it should be something that we all celebrate together. So I'm standing there at this thing and at this big sporting event. And again, I had a blast, and it reminded me about, number one, how great humanity can be, but it also reminded me how unifying something like sport and movies should be. So I had a great day. All right. Thanks for asking, man. All right. Let's see. Next up, we got Rich, who writes, another podcast recommendation, the No Sleep podcast, telling scary stories. I don't know if I'd want to listen to that. The podcast has been going since 2011 in roughly 24 seasons. Well, that's the definition of success for podcasts for sure. That's very impressive. Alan McAllister writes, this week on how not to train your dragon, she basically brought a coyote to a dog show and thought it would be a good idea. Okay. I don't want to give anything too much away, but you guys remember at the end of season 2, Damon's youngest daughter comes across that wild feral dragon, right? She was hunting it down and she finally came across this wild feral dragon. And so this season picks up with her. Okay, now that she's found this dragon, what happens? And you find out maybe trying to instantly expect a completely wild feral dragon to act like a well-trained dragon may not be the best idea. And it was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. I liked it a lot. Let's see. Next up, we got Cutter Hale, who writes, in 2023, we had Barbenheimer, and now in 2026, we have Super Ass. I can't wait for the double feature of Supergirl and Jackass 5 this weekend. Going to be great. Listen, I make fun of Paramount a lot that they have trash coming out this year. And I would often joke about, but wait, they've got Jackass 5. But I don't want to be misconstrued or to have you guys think that I'm not looking forward to Jackass 5. I am looking forward to Jackass 5. I'm very much looking forward to Jackass 5. I'm also very excited about watching Supergirl. I hope I hope both of them turn out to be great. And I'm going to have a lot of fun. Fortunately, I got tickets to go see an early fan screening of Supergirl on Wednesday. So I'm going to see Supergirl on Wednesday and then, and watch for my out of theater reaction to that. And then of course, Jackass I'll see on Thursday. So here's hoping it's going to be a good time. All right. Next up, Kresha writes, with a bland villain, I hope to enjoy Supergirl. You know, here's the thing. One of the initial reactions to Supergirl have all been very, very positive. Let me see if I can pull this up here. First reactions. I mean, not every Supergirl reaction has been positive, but like the majority of them have been positive. They've been so good to the point that even the Hollywood Reporter, the Hollywood Reporter's headline is Supergirl soars in first reactions. Jason Momoa was born to play Lobo. I read a couple of negative ones, vast majority of them positive, but even the positive ones, one of the common critiques that we heard from a lot of the reactions was that it's not a memorable villain. I didn't see anybody say it's a bad villain. I just read a number of them saying that it's kind of like a non-remarkable villain, one that you won't remember. It's kind of an incidental one. Now, to be fair, if you look back on the first three phases of the MCU, yeah, you had Thanos and yeah, you had Killmonger, but one of the knocks on the MCU in the first three phases, at any rate, was that they often had unremarkable villains that didn't really stand out and whatever. And yet a lot of those turned out to be great. A great example of that is the first Ant-Man movie. I love the first Ant-Man movie. Love it. Is Yellow Jackets one of the great comic book movie villains? No. I think the actor Stoll, the guy who plays him, is great, but I mean, that's just a great example of it, right? Like, so you can have let me put it this way. It helps a lot if you have a great villain. But we've had a lot of really good comic book movies that have had unremarkable villains at the same time. So that does concern me, but I'm not overly worried about it because, again, we've seen a lot of comic book movies where the villain was pretty forgettable, but the overall movie was pretty good. Whether that's the case with Supergirl or not, we'll wait and find out. We'll see. All right, let's see here. Next up, thanks for that, Kresha. We got E. Gurumi who writes, let's see, you were predicting that by this time of the year, the plot of Doomsday would fully leak. Do you think it has happened, and why, yes or no? I'm happy to say I've been able to avoid spoilers so far. I'll say this, a lot of the big moments have leaked. Now look, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that are supposed Doomsday leaks, and a lot of it is BS. A lot of it isn't true. That being said, there is a lot of real stuff that's gotten leaked out there. What I'm surprised at and grateful for is that by far the biggest spoiler of Avengers Doomsday, the moment that is going to have everybody going, oh my God. I haven't heard anybody mention it yet. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing that nobody's mentioned it yet. But so, yeah, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the big moments, a lot of the keynote things that happen in Doomsday, I have seen leaked out there amongst a lot of the BS. But I've been pleasantly shocked and surprised that the biggest thing hasn't leaked yet. I'm sure it will. Like, we still got 6 months until the movie comes out. Unfortunately, I think it will get leaked out, but I'm pretty happy that as of right now, it has not. And yeah, why or why not? Don't know. Because clearly there are people out there who, like me, know what happens in Doomsday and they're leaking some stuff out. So why they haven't leaked this thing yet, I don't know. They're probably just waiting to do it. But I do expect it'll probably come out sometime between now and when the movie comes out. But I'm glad it hasn't yet. All right. Next up, we've got Rich Reviews, who sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Rich, for supporting us in that level, man. And Rich writes, when it came to conversation from yesterday, James Berardinelli has been reviewing films since 1993. He started on Usenet. In 1993, he reviewed 243, started his own site in 1996. Roger Ebert was early champion on film. And yes, James has been a name that has been around a long time in the space. I don't know. I know he had his own blog, website, whatever. I think it was called James on Film or something like that. I think I don't know James. I've never met him, but I know he's definitely been one of those names that's been around in the space a long time. All right, Edward Wells. And thank you, Rich, for supporting us on that level, man. That's really generous of you. Let's see. Edward Wells writes, Disclosure Day, aliens are evil. They kidnap children and probe them. Well, I'm not going to go into that because it would require me going into spoiler. I can't respond to that about whether I agree or disagree with what you just said because it would involve me doing spoilers, and I can't do that. All right, Blazed writes, John, I've heard you mention you prefer to watch movies in Dolby Prime. I'm in the greater Los Angeles area. Is there a specific theater that has that type of format? Well, I mean, a number of theaters will have Dolby theaters, but my favorite is Dolby Prime because it's AMC combining its Prime theater with the Dolby all in one. And so you can get those at the busiest and most successful movie theater in the world right now is the AMC Burbank 16. It surpassed the New York ones. So you can see it there. I believe they also have it at the AMC Universal City Walk. But yeah, the one and I know they have one here in Riverside, California at the Tyler Galleria. But if you're in the LA area, I recommend go to the AMC Burbank 16 and go to their Dolby Prime. That's my favorite viewing experience is a Dolby. I love IMAX. I love, Screen X. I love all the premium large formats, but my personal favorite is the Dolby Prime. All right. Next up. Thanks for that, Blazed. Lohit writes, Lohar proves a baddie does not need 5 prequels for setting them up. She was brutal. The actress Abigail Thorne is a big absolute Wonder Woman comic fan. Dude, I'll tell you what, Bitch Fist is the greatest name ever. That, and like, when they said the name, you just, like, it's such a perfect name and it's not derogatory. It's like the coolest damn name for that character. And yes, she was going all the way back to last season, man. She was absolutely excellent in that role. Absolutely excellent in it. I think you're 100% right, Lohit. 100% right. All right. Next up. Brian Whitburn writes, love the show. Thank you so much. Can you explain how theater subscriptions like AMC A-List affect box office? Thanks. Well, I've explained this many times, but I'll just do it again quickly here. So the way it generally works, okay? So if you have AMC A-List and you pay like $25 a month, or you have Regal Unlimited and you pay whatever a month, how does that affect box office? Because I can go to see up to 16 movies a year or 16 movies a month, but only pay that $28 that I pay for my membership. Here's how it affects box office. When I use my A-List to buy a ticket, let me do it here. Box office and A-List. Okay, so let me bring it up in the Campea Classroom for a second here, just to be a little bit more efficient with it. So let's say I use A-List to get one ticket for, I don't know, Supergirl. Okay, one ticket for Supergirl. All right. When a movie theater sells a ticket, theater keeps about 1/3 and sends about 2/3 back to the distributor. Okay. So just to keep it simple, for argument's sake, if I bought a $9 movie ticket, the movie theater keeps $3 of it and they send $6 back to the distributor. So when I get a ticket with A-List, my A-List ticket roughly equals $10. Here's the way they work it out. At least my last, when I talked to an executive at the movie theater who was running the AMC A-List program, this is the way it at least used to work. When I use my AMC A-List to get a ticket for a movie, for the accounting of it, AMC will count that as a movie ticket that I bought at the current national average movie ticket price. Now that's not $10 exactly, but just for the sake of our discussion, let's say it's $10. Okay? So even though I didn't actually buy a movie ticket, they count it in their accounting as if I bought a movie ticket. So since I bought, they're counting it as if I bought a movie ticket for the national average that we're just going to say for argument's sake right now is $10. That means AMC keeps about $3.33, sends about $6.66 to the distributors. So the box office will count it as a $10 movie ticket. If I use my AMC A-List to see 16 movies this month, that will count as $160 of box office split up amongst the movies that I saw, even though I only spent $28. So I hope that makes sense. So I pay $28 for my AMC A-List, and then every time I use it, they count it as a ticket purchase price at the cost of whatever the national average is at the time. Then the theaters then keep about a third. They send about 2/3 back to the distributors, and that's basically how it works. I'm sure I made that as clear as mud, and stuff like that. So there you go. Now, some people might then ask, well, wait a minute. If AMC has to send all that money for a ticket they didn't sell, how do they make money? Simple. They more than make their money back by people like me buying soda and popcorn and Reese's Pieces and nachos and hot dogs and stuff like that. So the distributor makes a bunch of money from people using A-List, and the theater makes a bunch of money from people using A-List. And it's a win-win for everybody. And it's a win-win for us as fans, because I get to spend $30 a month or less on seeing 16 movies. It's a win-win for everybody. At least it is for now. All right. Thanks for asking, man. All right. Next up. Really wish you were here. Writes, I don't think Supergirl is going to do well. Well, it depends on what your definition of well is. Anyway, we have Toy Story 2 second weekend, Minions next week, which rolls into Moana, Odyssey, and Spider-Man. Was this just bad timing by WB or another reason? Here's what I have come to believe over the years. Now, I used to believe that releasing movies multiple movies that people may want to see will really affect the box office of those movies. I don't believe that anymore because the data showed that I was wrong. Like, I started looking at the numbers, and I remember a couple of years ago, The Wrap put out this report showing like the distribution of the money in the box office like in relation to where movies opened in relation to other movies. And I realized that my assumption was wrong. If people want to see Supergirl, they're going to go see Supergirl. It doesn't matter if they're going to take their kid to go see Minions the following week, or if they want to go see Toy Story 2 again this week. The data has shown that if people want to see Supergirl, they're going to go see it. They're going to go see it. Now, it's a little bit different as when you have two big movies opening on the same day. That will affect opening weekend. But like, if people want to see Dune 3 and if people want to see Doomsday, they may not do a double header and see them both on opening weekend, but they're going to eventually see Doomsday if they go to see Dune 3 first. So I think Supergirl needs to make just a little under 400 million to break even. It's in very much the same boat as Black Adam was. I think it can break even. But like I've said from the beginning, like I've said forever, Supergirl is a secondary B-list derivative character that nobody should ever expect is going to make $700 million. I've been saying that forever. Nobody should ever think that movie's going to be a $700 million movie. What James Gunn and Peter Safran want to do is to make it a great movie to continue to build up the reputation of DC. They're not worried about the first 1, 2, 3, or 4 movies they make. They're worried about films 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They're worried about all those movies. So do I think Supergirl can break even and be profitable? I think it can, depending on if it's good or not. I don't know if I'm going to like the movie or not, but I hope I do. But again, it all depends on what your definition of is going to do well. If your definition of doing well is $300 million, I think it can. I don't know that it will, but I think it can. If your definition of well is $400 million, I think it can. I don't necessarily know that it will, but I think it can. But if your definition of well is like $750 million, well then no, I've never thought it would do that. Like there's no chance it does that. It's a B-list character that's a derivative character of another character. So no, but that's not the goal. So we'll see. It really all depends on what your definition of well does well. Because that could be any number you want. Like if you think well is $1.5 billion, then obviously not. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll see. I just hope I like the movie, man. That's all I've got right now is I just really hope I like the movie. All right, next up. Max Them writes, even the reflecting pool is Doomsday green. Marketing! I hope it has more staying power than the American flag blue. Greetings from Austria/Vienna. Ooh, thank you for writing in from Austria and Vienna. Yeah, I'm not going to touch that. I have several things I could say, but I'm going to choose, Max, not to touch that right now, other than to say that's a very creative comment. All right. Spicy Runs writes, hey guys, my son recently had an amputation done and the show helped me get through those days at the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. Wondering if he can get love. His name is, is that Aries? Am I pronouncing that right? Well, listen, all of our best thoughts in the world to you, Aries. And I hope I'm saying that name right. I hope whatever procedure you went through, I hope it was done really well. I hope it went off without a hitch and hope your recovery time is really, really fast. Thank you so much for watching our show and letting us be there in your hospital room with you as you're recovering, and all of our best to you and your family. And I hope everything, your recovery goes really, really well. So hang in there, man. All right. Thanks for writing that in, Spicy Runs. And I hope that was adequate. I hope that was adequate. All right. Next up, we've got Movies That Floor You sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you for Movies That Floor You. And Movies That Floor You writes, John, movies in theaters are at their best when they bring everyone together, 100%, regardless of background or beliefs. I hope the show can reflect that same welcoming spirit. Also, please review Obsession. I'm not reviewing Obsession. I have a rule that I've had for well over a decade that I don't do a full review of movies if they've already been in theaters for more than 2 days. And I don't really care if people like that rule or not. That is a rule that I have for a reason, and I think it has served me well. And I will not be doing, I just, again, because of the travels that I did with the movie meetup tour, which I was on the road for weeks, and then, the World Series of Poker stuff, I just didn't have a chance to see it. And so I will not be reviewing it. Besides, nobody cares what I think about the movie anymore. Like the relevance of me doing an Obsession review or any movie that's already been in theater for a couple of days is zero. Like nobody's looking for reviews on those movies anymore. The movie's already out. It's going to be on VOD pretty soon. So there's really no point in me doing a review of it. And that includes movies that I end up watching and I love. I don't do late reviews. I just never have. And I probably never will, unfortunately. But anyway, other than that, thank you so much for supporting us on that level, man. I appreciate it very much. And guys, that will do it for all the questions before I turned off the super chats that you guys have sent in. But you know what? I've got a few minutes left. So if you guys in the live chat have a question, look in the live chat right now. If you have a question for me, type in all capital letters, question, colon, and then put in your question. That way I know you're asking me a question and not just talking amongst yourselves. I'm not going to answer all of them. I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm not. I'm just going to hand pick out a couple, and I'll answer a couple that you guys send in right now. And yeah, we'll go with that. We're going to start off with our friend Chef Rigo. All right, and should Zach stop confusing his fans? I don't know. I mean, look, do I think he should be continuously putting out stuff about days that no longer exist? No. But if he gets a kick out of sharing them and some of his fans appreciate reading it, then go ahead. As long as they have a level head and understand it doesn't mean anything, then I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Let's see. Diego writes, what do you think is the greatest movie trailer of all time? The trailer for not The Force Awakens, Phantom Menace. I may have hated the movie, but I think the trailer for the Phantom Menace is probably the greatest trailer of all time. Let's see here. Question, favorite Sentry / Bob moment from Thunderbolts? Oh, I thought he was such a great character. Like, I especially love the moment when he's fighting himself, like he's fighting his own demon, right? I love that too. I even love the post-credit scene where he's like, hey, maybe Sentry can just fly us out there. It's like, hey guys, I can't bring out the other guy or else it runs a risk. I just really loved a lot about the character and a lot of things he did in there. Let's see. Seconds from Disaster is asking a question we already addressed earlier in the show. Let's see this thing too. Question also from Diego. If Netflix gives Greta Gerwig's Narnia a full theatrical release, which apparently it is getting, proves to be successful, do you think they will give the same treatment to the live action Gundam movie? No, I don't. I think Netflix, now this is an important distinction to make. Netflix is not interested in getting into the theatrical game as Netflix. But what they are interested in is acquiring another company that they can get into the theatrical business through. That's why they were going after Warner Brothers. Netflix doesn't have the experience or the infrastructure or the logistics to really heavily get into the theatrical game. That's part of the reason they wanted to buy Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers does have the logistics. It does have the infrastructure. It does have the experience, and it does have the expertise. That's why there's been a rumor going around that they might be looking at buying Lionsgate. I think they want something bigger than Lionsgate, so I'm not sure about the validity of that, but that's one of the reasons why that's going around. So yeah, I don't think Netflix as an isolated company is interested in getting into theatrical. I think they're interested in getting into theatrical through another company that they acquire. But no, I don't think they have any plans on theatrically launching their Gundam thing. Hope I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am. All right. And guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. A big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the super chats. Number one, because you gave us fun, interesting things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Hey guys, don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow. We'll look forward to see. By the way, a little bit of an announcement to make. I'll tell this story again later, but on Wednesday, we're going to have a guest on the show. Some of you guys know that the thing I watch most on YouTube is actually tech videos. I love tech. So I watch a ton of tech YouTube. And one of my favorite tech YouTubers is a guy by the name, I'm sure some of you know him, by the name of Brian Tong. And a few years ago, Ann and I were at a premiere, and I realized that sitting not far from me was Brian Tong, who is, again, is like one of my favorite tech YouTubers. And I'm like, what's he doing at this premiere? Turns out Brian is an absolute movie psychotic nut. He loves the movies. And so he and I have kept talking. We kind of met at the premiere and we've kept in touch. And Brian Tong is going to be on the show on Wednesday, which I'm really excited about because he's very, very cool. So anyway, look forward to that. But make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow. Me, Rob, Jonathan Voica will all be here. I hope you will be too. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.